Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink. It is time for some Path of Exile 2 discussion. Actually, you know what, skip the drink. This is going to be a short video. Today is day 5 of Teaser season for patches 0.3.0 and the third Edict expansion. And today we have one very small piece of news out of Grinding Gear Games, and then just a couple of other important reminders and mentions after that. So, the first thing that's come out of Grinding Gear Games is just a bit of a clarification on what's going to happen when the Dawn of the Hunt leagues end. Now, I ran a poll of my subscribers to this channel a while ago, and it turned out that 20% of you play Path of Exile 1 only, 20% of you play Path of Exile 2 only, and 60% of you play both games. And if you want to be included in similar polls in the future, or alternately, if you want to see my videos show up about 3 times as often in your feed, then there is a button that you can press down below. I'm sure you can work out which one it is. For those of you that are in that 60%, you already know the answer to this. It's going to be exactly the same process as it is in Path of Exile 1. So your characters from Path of Exile 2's Dawn of the Hunt League, they're going to remain playable, but they'll be over in a new place. But for those of you that are a little bit newer to Path of Exile 2, let's go through the exact details of how this works. You might have characters that are in Early Access Standard. These will be any character you created in 0.1.0 will be there, as well as characters that you created during 0.2.0, but you chose to put them into Early Access Standard. Any of those characters, they're going to stay exactly where they are. All your stash tabs, they're going to stay exactly where they are as well. What about your characters that you made during 0.2.0 and that you put into the Dawn of the Hunt League? Those characters, and also all of your stash tabs, are going to move over into the Early Access Standard as well. So consider this to be a merge. If you've got 2 characters, one in each league at the moment, then they're going to both be in the same league after this. If you want to continue playing them, you'll have the flexibility to do so, and you'll be able to use gear that you might have got during 0.1.0, such as the crazy broken legacy ingenuity belts that are going around, and use them in conjunction with items that have only been available since 0.2.0. So that's the first option. The most common thing though that Path of Exile players tend to do, at least in Path of Exile 1, and we'll see if this is still a case in POE 2 as well, the most common thing people do is they just let their standard characters rot, and they just keep making new characters in the new leagues each time, because most of the player base find it more fun to start from nothing than to start when you've already got everything. Note that that's just a common opinion. Just because an opinion is common doesn't mean you're wrong if you don't share it. If you have more fun in Standard, then I would encourage you to stay in Standard. How does this interact with game modes like Hardcore or Solo Self-Found? Characters will go from the Dawn of the Hunt League to the equivalent rule set Permanent League. So if you've got a character that is in Dawn of the Hunt, Hardcore, Solo Self-Found, assuming they don't go splat in the next couple of days, then they're going to be able to be played in an ongoing way in Hardcore, Solo Self-Found, non-Dawn of the Hunt, i.e. the standard version. When does this migration happen? It's the 26th of August US time zones, so this will be 3 PM PDT. And if you're in a different time zone, you can check out how that translates on the Grinding Gear Games website. For instance, for me, in Melbourne, Australia, it's going to be 8 AM the next day. Now that's most of how the process works. There is one more complexity that comes up if you end up with more stuff in your stash tab in Standard than you can hold. What will happen in that case is that the extra ones will become remove only tabs. These will be tabs that you can remove items from, but once you take something out of it, you can't put it back in. If you've got a huge amount of loot, like I do over in Path of Exile 1 Standard, then you might find that's completely unmanageable, and then you might end up with a mountain of remove-only tabs. So that's basically everything that we've got. Grinding Gear Games have been very, very quiet on a lot of the gameplay features, itemization, balance changes and the like. Things they normally would have announced quite a bit of in the lead-up. Instead, they're going really quiet on that, and the small amount of information that we've got in leaks, that was something that I covered in a video yesterday, and in the last 20 seconds, I'll put a link on the bottom left corner of the screen about that. One last thing I quickly wanted to raise, I've seen a bunch of discussion about the timing of this league's main live stream announcement. You may have noticed that it's not the usual day of the week, it's being run a day earlier than it normally is. The reason for this is Grinding Gear Games don't want to clash with a Last Epoch's launch. Last Epoch, at least in my opinion, is the best ARPG that is on the market at the moment that is not made by Grinding Gear Games. That said, I have only played it at a fairly casual level. So I've gotten up to endgame, but I've not gotten far into the endgame. Definitely a fun game though. If you're interested in trying it out, I'll put a link down below to an affiliate link store that I've got. This is my Nexus store. And if you're interested, you can pick up the base game there, which is usually 35 American, unless they run some sort of sale on it. And they even have a Toucan theme supporter pack. But I would just buy the base game first, see if you like it. And then if you do still like it, then you can buy the supporter packs after that. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. I'm going to leave it there. The video with yesterday's leak discussion is on screen at the moment. Mega Varlorbs have interesting results.